the discussion about Sri Ramachandra. So we will, as usual, we will chant from this mantra and then we will start. Yan Maya Vashavarti Vishyamakhilam Brahmadi Devasura Yat Sattvat Amrishaiva Bhati Sakalam Rajyo Yatha He Brahmaha Yat Pada Plabamiba Bhati Hi Bhavambo Dhesti Tirshabatam Bandhoham Tamashesha Karana Param Ramakhyam Isham Harim. I salute the Supreme Lord Hari, known as Sri Rama, the cause transcending all relative causes, whose mysterious power controls all beings in the world, including Brahma, Devas and Asuras, whose substance gives reality to all things as the rope does to the snake appearing on it, and feet alone before a spiritual aspirant as a boat for crossing the ocean of samsara. This is the main reason, the Ramayana that we study, the main reason is to go beyond the circle of the birth and death, because that is the bondage. Ramayana is a history. The history that the Ikshaku, the family lineage, the Sri Ramachandra, and Sri Rama, when he was young, he studied, and then afterwards one great rishi took him to protect his ashrama, and after that he took him to a place and where the Sri Rama met Sita and married her after showing the Kshatriya power. And all those stories we have already read, heard, and many of us we know. Then Rama was having another three brothers, the Lakshmana, Bharata, Shatrughna, the Rama's father, the famous Dasharatha, all these stories we know. Then from these, what we are learning? What is the spiritual knowledge that we get from this? This is almost the same story of any the monarchic family. That their family is just like that. No, it has a difference. What is that difference? First, the birth of Sri Ramachandra and his brothers. They had the father, the Dasharatha, organized a wonderful yajna, and he summoned some of the great rishis. They performed the yajna, then utilized the mantra shakti, the power of the mantra, and from there they got the blessings, and Dasharatha got 4 wonderful sons, the Rama, Lakshmana, Bharata and Shatrughna. And then afterwards, this Dasharatha, who promised to his third wife that the second wife, that whatever she will ask, Dasharatha will give it to her. It was on the verge of some in the battle. The lady, the queen, she helped Dasharatha, and in fact saved Dasharatha in that battle. So Dasharatha promised. Then afterwards, all these things, and they were born. The children were growing up. Then ultimately, Sri Ramachandra, who was the eldest of these 4, so he wanted the naturally king wanted to ask him to sit in his place, and that coronation ceremony was announced and the preparation was going on. Then suddenly one lady who is to help that second wife she came and told that, do you remember the king promised to you that whatever you will ask? And she said, yes, that this is the main time. Why don't you go and ask that king's throne for your own son? Now friends, from here we start learning. The spiritual journey begins from here. Before all the story that we find, and of course there were another stories there, that Dasharatha by mistake killed a Brahmana, and that Brahmana told, you will also die for your sons, that they will desert you and you will die a broken heart father. As you have killed my son, and I am now dying because of the pain I am feeling. So that is also another story. The karma phala. Whatever the karma that we do, we get the result. As because we forget in our next birth, we think, oh, this is just in this life, it is happening like that. It is nothing like that. It goes, that the Hindus and the Buddhists, they all believe the karma phala is there. In the Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna very clearly mentioning, in the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, many a times we find Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna is also mentioning. Swami Vivekananda, the great Vedantin, he also mentioned the karma phala, the action that you take, and that result is there. So one must be very, very careful about the actions and how we act physically and through thought and with the words. Kayika, Bachika and Manasika. The Kayika means the physically. We go and fight with someone or do something, the physically people can see. But Manasika, when we are thinking bad about others, that is also the wrong work. We don't understand that. We think, oh, I am not doing physically anything wrong, so I am safe, I am a good person. No. That is the subtle thing we have to understand. The karma phala. Dasharatha's karma phala, he killed someone's son, so he was cursed that he will also die losing his own son. So now the time has come. This is one karma phala. Second, the promise that the Dasharatha gave, he was trying to break it. But now Sri Ramachandra, the embodiment of the dharma, the righteousness, he told his father, you should not break it. So here we learn what is dharma, what is spirituality, what is religion. Keeping the word, once you have promised, you must. The first we learn, one must be careful about the actions, one's actions, because that is going to come back, the result is come back to him or to her. Whether others notice it or not, that is for sure it will come back. And the work we do through three ways, the physical and thought and also through the words. So we must be very careful when you are speaking with others. We must be courteous, gentle, polite, and should not use the harsh words which can hurt others. This is the first training, first learning from the scripture, that is Sri Ramayana. There is a path of Sri Ramachandra, Ramayana. So this is the Rama's path. And second, we learn from the Rama, a young man of 16, 17 years old, to who is asking his father, whatever may happen, you should not break your promise. Raghukula riti sada chali aayi pranu yau bru bachan na jaye. This bachan baddhata, the very fast, the keeping the words one should be, and that is the main religion. If a human being cannot keep the promises, then how they can call themselves human? The animals, they also sleep, they also eat, they also fight. All these things are so common with the animals. Only in one thing, the animals and the human are different, and human are superior. here in this dharma. Dharmena hina pashubhi samana, they say. When you lose your dharma, and what is that dharma? Keeping the words. Bhagavan Sri Ramachandra, the God himself who incarnated, the Vishnu himself who incarnated as Sri Ramachandra, he is teaching us this. And what is the promise? That I am going to protect my wife at the time of marriage. Every man, he is taking this oath. And Sri Ramachandra, when to keep the promise of his father, went in exile, and afterwards he lost his wife because the Ravana, and all this story that we have already studied, I am not going to repeat it. Then the Ravana's sister came, and the Lakshmana couldn't understand, and she was punished for something, and then she went to the Ravana. Ravana took the promise that I am going to avenge, and all these things. Then Ravana came in the garb of a sannyasi, as a monk, and then as a holy person he came. And Sita couldn't recognize. And Sita went to give the alms, and the Ravana abducted her and took her to the Sri Lanka. Now, up to this we have all heard, and then the Ravana went in searching. Ultimately, with the help of some of the friends, that he could reach to a place where the Vanaras, they were there, a group of tribal people, very powerful and physically very strong. And he went and helped one brother who was being tortured by another brother, the Sugriva. And the Sugriva became the king of the Vanaras. And after that, the Sugriva, as promised, he sent out all the groups to 4 directions, north, east, south, and west, to search Ma Sita. Then ultimately, the Hanuman, when they came to know that Sita is in that island, crossed the ocean by just jumping, because he was a great yogi. So he made his whole body huge and reached over there. And after reaching over there, he went different places and to see whether it will be the Sita. And last time we were discussing the Hanumana. Then he is he was the servant sadhaka. I gave the name Hanumana, the servant sadhaka. The sadhaka, he was practicing austerity and following the religious path, religious rites, but as a servant. And what are the qualities of a servant sadhaka? The first quality that we discussed, the physical power. The servant should be physically very fit, and he should be capable to perform a different type of work. Hanumana proved that. When all others, they said, we are sorry, we cannot cross the ocean, it is impossible, we don't have that power, Hanumana came forward to and offer his service, and he remembered his yogic power, and he made his body huge, and then jumped, and he crossed the ocean, even in the different places and in different way. They came forward to obstruct. The demigods, they always try to obstruct someone who is proceeding towards the ultimate spiritual success, ultimate spiritual goal. So demigods, they came and they were trying to stop. But Hanumana could overcome all those hindrances, reach the shore, and now the second step, second quality of the sadhaka. What is the second? Intellectual power. And his intellectual power, and he started using that. When he saw the beautiful ladies in the palaces, he first was overwhelmed, and he saw it must be the Sita, particularly when he saw the queen, Mandodari, the Ravana's queen. Hanumana mistook her as Sita in the beginning, and he was so happy. He was jumping. He was celebrating his success. Then suddenly he again started thinking, oh no, this cannot never be. How can a lady who has lost her own husband can dress like this and can be so happy? This cannot be the Sita. Sita must be. See, this is again when we are proceeding towards the spiritual path, and sometimes we get success. The people, they appreciate, and lot of supporters, they come. And that is the time the spiritual person who is proceeding stop and think, is this the path that I wanted? Is this the thing that I wanted in my spiritual path? This is not my goal. So one who is proceeding towards the spiritual goal must be always alert. The different type of powers also, supernatural powers also come. You can read the minds of others. So those things are there. But one should not be deluded by this. Hanuman, in the beginning, he was making the mistake by thinking the Mandodari as Mother Sita. And the second, no, it can never be. So the judgment, all the time, constantly going on thinking what is true, what is correct, and that is the intellectual power, intelligence that one should have to become the servant sadhaka, aspirant who is following the path of the servant, completely dedicated. Hanumana, he understood that. Then he started traveling the whole area. He was very fast. He was jumping from one house to another. Almost all the palaces that was Ravana's and belongs to the Ravana's brothers and the other ministers, he visited all those. He couldn't find any lady who was arrested over there. Then he decided it must be somewhere else. Let me go. He searched every nook and corner of the whole city. It is a big and beautiful city. Hanumana himself narrated it afterwards. But he was not satisfied. Finally, he saw a beautifully arranged garden. He thought, this must be the king's garden. Let me go and see. When he went over there, that's called Ashokabana. The majority of the trees were the Ashoka tree, the beautiful flowers that comes. And Hanumana went over there and said, yes, one lady, very lean and thin, but very serene, very pure face. She is sitting on the floor, and all the lady guards, the heavily armed, they are surrounding that lady and sitting over there and guarding the whole garden. That must be the Sita. So finally, Hanumana discovered the Sita, and he could go and fight with those ladies and take the Sita on his shoulder and come. But he don't know. Here again, he started thinking, suppose I go and say that I have come to rescue you. Mother Sita may think this is the Ravana who had the power to take different type of forms. Ravana was also in the yogic power that he was having, he could change his form. So it must be, and Sita may curse, Sita may don't like to go, may not cooperate. So now he, the servant, the sadhaka, what he did, he became very small and he covered himself with all the leaves, and he was sitting the most nearby tree so that he can see and hear what is going on. Suddenly he noticed that Ravana is coming. It was the morning time, and Ravana, after getting from his sleep, he got up and he wanted to come and meet the Sita, to pursue Sita. That was almost his regular routine. So in the morning time he was coming, and naturally followed by many other people. But all others, the male, they stayed out of the garden. Ravana alone entered. The lady girls, they were ushering him. They were showing him the path. Ravana alone came to Sita. And Hanumana, sitting, covering himself in that the leaves, then he was observing. Ravana came and he was shouting to the Sita. And the Sita was quietly listening. Ravana came and told that you must marry me. Don't waste yourself in this way. Then when he was going on telling that, O worshipful lady, depend on me, don't be afraid. Mother Sita turned her back against the Ravana. Ravana, he came many a times. Ravana tried in many a way to pursue, and not only that, all those ladies who were guarding Sita, they also many days they were trying. But Mother Sita quietly sat over there, and the Hanumana could see that she has become lean and thin because she was not taking food. So she was almost fasting, very little food just to keep herself alive, and she was mainly living on fruits and water. So that was the way she was going on doing the austerity and constantly thinking about Rama, meditating on Rama. So this is a picture that we can see how dedicated a wife, and how much, though the Ravana was going on telling her that I will make you my queen and you will have the huge, you cannot think the wealth. Usually the ladies, they say that they are always very fond of the jewelries and the wealth and the power of her husband and all that. So naturally Ravana was trying to convince the Sita to marry him, and he was telling, see, I am the most powerful person in this world, and if you marry me, you will become my queen. Everybody will listen to you. And the wealth, he mentioned Kubera. Kubera was the richest god, demigod, richest person in those days. So you will get the wealth of Kubera. Kubera was related to Ravana, and Ravana forcefully snatched that the aircraft that the Kubera was having. So Ravana took Sita using that craft. And he was going on telling, but Sita turned her back towards him, showing that I am ignoring you. So that is the physical gesture, and that physical the way, and she wanted to give the message to Ravana, it is all unnecessary that every day you are coming and talking to me. So it is not necessary because I am not going to listen to you. And Sita told the Ravana, you see, O Ravana, have regard for virtue. Now what is that virtue? That one should not abduct or take touch the person of another's wife. So that is the virtue. This gives us a picture of the then society. So we can, that if we go back to the story, we know that the Bali and the Sugriva, Bali the elder brother, he drove his brother Sugriva for whatever may be the reason, and then what he did, he forced his junior brother's wife to become his wife. So people never said anything because that was a caste system. So now Sri Ramachandra, the God, he has come down to earth to establish the dharma, and what the avatara do, they do only, they establish the dharma. This is the dharma. You have to have the self-control, and the human society should not do it. And if the king is doing it, then obviously other people will follow that. So the Rama killed Bali because of that. You should not do it. And here the Mother Sita, she is mentioning the same thing to Ravana. Ravana have a regard for virtue. You should not have, and by that way, by telling the untruth, you should not abducted me. I don't belong to you. Why? And I was married to Sri Rama. I was a happy wife. Why you have abducted me? and why you have keeping me over here? So like this, she told, have regard for virtue. So that was the thing Sri Ramachandra as an avatar he was establishing. O Ravana, I belong to Rama as light to sun. She gave a wonderful example. So you cannot separate me from Rama as you cannot separate the light from the sun. There's a beautiful example she gave. So you are thinking that I am a lady and I married to Sri Rama, and you can just lure me and say that you will make me very happy, giving me wealth and power and all that. I am not that. I am part and parcel of Sri Ramachandra. This gives the hints, the God and his power. What is the Sita? It's not a lady. It's not the separate. It is the same God, and God's power took a lady form, that much. So Sita is mentioning, Mother Sita is mentioning very wonderfully that I am as the light to the sun. You cannot separate the light from the sun. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna also, in a different way, the same type of example he gave, the fire and its burning capacity. Agni and Dahika Shakti. About the Ma Saradamani Devi, there is a beautiful stotra. They say she is like the burning capacity of the fire. She is with the Sri Ramakrishna, with Ramakrishna. The Yathagni Dahika Shakti, as the fire and its burning capacity, so Sri Ramakrishna and Ma Sarada. Here, Mother Sita told the Ravana, I belong to Rama as the light to the sun. Don't think you can separate me. Ravana became very angry, and Ravana went back, cursing him and showing anger, and then he threatened her by saying, well, I gave you the word, I promised that I won't touch you, I won't force you for 1 year. Now another 2 months are left. So I am going to keep my promise. Another 2 months, I won't force you. If you voluntarily agree to marry me, it is good. Or otherwise, I will force you. Or maybe that these ladies, they will kill you. Like that, he was showing the terrifying the Mother Sita. Then when the Ravana left, these ladies, they came and they were going on telling, this is a big description is there in the Ramayana. One after another, they have the names. They came and someone was telling, hey, you are a fool. See, the Ravana, the most powerful person, and so not only powerful, he was very good looking person, and also he was very intelligent person. Ravana, it says that he was having the 10 heads. The 10 heads is symbolically, he was as intelligent as 10 people. Suppose the 10 people together and Ravana one alone was having that intelligence. So why you are making the mistake? If the Ravana wanted me to marry, I would have been so happy to marry him, because the next moment you will be so powerful and the whole world will be at your feet. What a lady wants. So you should also think about it. Marrying Ravana, another lady came and told, see, as a human, you have done whatever is necessary for your husband. Enough is enough. The 8 months you were waiting for, the 10 months of almost, you were waiting for your husband. Husband won't be able to come. He's a weak person as a human, how much strong he may be. The Rakshasas, they are physically very strong, and the Rakshasas they always live together. So they have that power also, though no human can defeat them. So why you are waiting for your husband, who is a human being, will come and rescue you from here? That is absurd. Nothing is going to happen. So rather, and slowly you are losing your beauty. The one day Ravana won't like you, and he will ask us to kill you. We will kill you. Why you are unnecessarily losing your life when there is a very good opportunity? So third one came and told the others, hey, she is not going to listen to us, and why unnecessarily wasting our time? Kill her and let us go and tell the king by mistake we have killed her, or she was trying to fight with us and we just killed her. Let us kill her. So another, so I support that. Don't waste time. Let us kill her. So that way they were terrifying Mother Sita. Mother Sita and Hanuman are sitting over there listening everything. So when this story, when we are reading, we can understand the predicament. The Mother Sita, the power of God. But sometimes in human life, so many different challenges come. So what one should do? That is the main thing. When we are reading the Ramayana, when we are hearing the story of Sri Ramachandra, we must always keep in mind that we are actually learning religion. We are learning spirituality. And we have to practice this. What we should do? Here, the Mother Sita, she told, I cannot be separated from Sri Rama. That means it is not the husband-wife. It is the God and the devotee. I belong to Sri Rama as the light is to sun. So I also should think, we also should think that we the devotees can never be separated from the God, because we belong to God. God and devotee are the same, as Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna said. So we have to have this mental capacity to understand that there is God, and that all-powerful God, we must get attached to that God. That is the way one should think. And secondly, there may be temptations. As all these, including Ravana, was trying to tempt the Sita to go against her husband, Sri Ramachandra, for us, God. There may be temptations. You leave your God. Forget about God. God is not there. There can nothing be like God. It is all imagination. Forget all those things. Live a worldly life. Enjoy, drink, marry. So all these things are there. So one devotee should be very, very careful. Whatever may be the temptation, the devotee should be courageous enough and intelligent enough to understand and give up that, like Mother Sita. The Mother Sita turned her back to all the offer, all the temptations of Sri or Ravana. That means we have to turn our back. If someone is coming and telling us, we will give you political power, we will give you the lot of money, forget about God. You need not to bother about God or spiritual life. Immediately, oh, it's okay, it's okay. Then you are not a true aspirant. You are not a yogi. So this we are learning while we are studying Ramayana. Then the Sita, and afterwards he is saying, now another social picture we have already discussed in one or two of our talks, that slowly the things were changing. When Sri Ramachandra came, what is that Yuga? Satya, Treta, Dwapar and Kali. The Treta Tari Ram, Treta Yuga, when Sri Ramachandra came to establish Dharma. What is that Dharma? Now we find in the Satya Yuga, majority of the intellectual people, they were asked to concentrate and develop the knowledge about many things. And majority of the people, the husband and wife, the male and female, they all were, those who were capable, most of them they were capable. So they used to go and meditate and try to understand why this is happening. There's a research work was going on in the human society. And after that, those who were researching, they were known as the Rishi, as the Muni. The Muni means the thinkers. Manana Shila is Muni. That they are thinkers. They used to think why this is happening like this, why it is this, why it is that. So the human society is growing up that these are the founders of the human society. You know, friends, the Hinduism has no founder. All other religions, they have the founders. They say that it is eternal, but it begins with some name. Buddha, Buddhism, Jesus Christ, Christianity. They like that the founders are there. But in Hinduism, there is no founder. These are all research. Who did the research? Rishis. What type of research they did? What is permanent and what is temporary? So they found that there are three things that always everyone wants to do, wants to have. What are the three things? No one wants to die. That means we want eternity. We like to live eternally. But this physical body cannot live eternally. Then how we will live? Physical body is a mixture of, that also they discover, of the 5 ingredients. Shiti, Apa, Tej, Maruta, Boma. This is the earth, the water, the fire, the air, and the space. These are the 5 things, 5 ingredients. Together, this is the body and all these things that we see. Then if this is more than one, anything made of more than one is going to break someday or other. So this body is going to die. That this is not permanent. Is the mind permanent? The mind is also changing. Anything that changes cannot be the permanent. What is that permanent? They went on searching and they found out the consciousness. That is all the time present everywhere. So that was the main goal. And it's difficult to understand the consciousness, so the concept of God came. The God is all powerful, doing this and that. Then the God we are not understanding, so God himself sometimes took the human form, lived with us to guide us. And here we find Sri Ramachandra, the Lord Vishnu, the Supreme God, who is all pervading. He took the form only to give us an assurance that it may be like this, when we can understand a name and a form. So the Lord Vishnu came, and out of that Vishnu, the power of Vishnu, Sri Ramachandra. And what the Ramachandra is doing? Guiding us towards the supreme goal. What is that goal? Eternity. And how we will reach there? Through knowledge. Why? Because that is also the knowledge. And what is the another third last thing? We all want happiness. We want joy. We want the bliss, as they call it in the spiritual language, bliss. The bliss means something, the joy, extreme joy, and joy eternal is not going to break, but it is not coming from any object, it is coming from within. So this is the thing that they discovered, and they gave the name Brahman. The Brahman means all pervading consciousness. And how to understand the Brahman? They gave 3 the concept. One is, it is eternal, it is full of knowledge, source of knowledge, and it is the bliss eternal. So this is the way we can understand. So here the Sri Ramachandra who came, he was giving a practical demonstration and the teaching of the dharma, the religion. And what is that? You have to keep the promise. And secondly, now the responsibility of the 50% of the human society, the ladies, now they should go to establish the samsara. Now the discovery is over. Now we have to start the society. And in the society, husband and wife, the husband is having one type of responsibility, and the wife should have another responsibility. What is that? Grihini. And that is the responsibility that they were having. Here, Mother Sita, she is also having that responsibility, and she is showing that. And here in this chapter we find she is mentioning to please the king Ravana, the lady god started pleasing Sita. But Sita was firm in her decision, and she told, I am attached to Rama. I am attached to Rama as. Then she goes on mentioning some of the wonderful couples, husband and wife, as Shubharchal to the sun. Shubharchal is the wife of the sun. As Shachi to Indra. The Indra, the king of gods, and his wife, his queen, is Shachi. As Arundhati to Vasishtha. Vasishtha, the famous Muni, the great sage, and his wife was Arundhati. And Arundhati was very pious, this Arundhati. And then it says that as Rohini to Chandra. The Chandra means the moon. The moon, that his wife is Rohini. As Lopamudra to Agastha. Agastha, another rishi, another sage, his wife was Lopamudra. As Shukanna to Chaban rishi. So this Shukanna was dedicated to the Chaban rishi. Chaban rishi lost her eyesight. The Shukanna served him. And rishi was not having anything. And Shukanna was a rich man's daughter. But she told, no, as I have married to this man, I should serve him. So that's the beautiful stories. If you are interested, I think you can Google and can get all the stories, and you must read. And he said, I am Savitri to Satyavan. Savitri Satyavan story, many of us we know, and you can read it from the story books are there. The Srimati to Kapila. Kapila, the great sage, Kapila. Damayanti to Nala. Nala Damayanti, the famous couple. And similarly, I, Sita to Sri Ramachandra. Friends, we get the 10 couples in those days and the 10 great ladies who were performing, they were the forebearers, we can say, forerunners of a new concept, new type of responsibility and new dharma for the ladies. So they were not meditating or trying to discover, but they were homemakers. Now that was the responsibility came after the Satya Yuga. So Treta Yuga and Dwapara Yuga, we find the responsibility of the ladies were only for that. Then the Kali Yuga came. Once again the degradation of the righteousness. Once again the challenges were very difficult. Once again it was necessary for the 50% of the human society, that means the women, to come forward to take up again that Veda Vadini. Veda means the knowledge, and discoverers of that knowledge. Ma Sharadamani Devi, she was balancing the both. She was a homemaker, at the same time she was Brahmavadini, the discoverers of the knowledge. The women also can realize God. Women also can become the spiritual teacher. There is a group that's called Sarada Mission, the Sri Ramakrishna's followers. Ma Sharada and Sri Ramakrishna and Swami Vivekananda, just like the boys in the Ramakrishna mission, the girls, they can go to the Sarada mission and can become the nun. The highly qualified girls nowadays, they are joining that and then living a very pure monastic life and then going out to the society to serve the society, to help the society, to remind the society that without the dharma, without the righteousness, everything will break down. So this is the way that slowly things are happening. Now we are following Hanuman, who was sitting in one of the trees very close to Sita's cottage, and he could see and hear also. All this conversation he observed, he saw that, and then Hanuman heard when everything was quiet. Ravana left, all these lady guards, they got tired, they also left that particular place, and they were guarding in their own positions in different places. It became very quiet. Then Hanuman, he could hear the Ma Sita lamenting, "Oh, perhaps Sri Rama do not know that I am still alive. Otherwise, he would have come to rescue me. Sri Rama, who alone could kill the 14,000 Rakshasas in the Janasthana." And we know that when we were reading the Ramayana, the Rama was passing through the jungles, the different places he was crossing. By the time Sita was abducted by the Ravana, the Rama, when he was searching for Sita, he came in face to face with that Janasthana, and he had to kill all this because they attacked him. He surely can kill Ravana. Sita was, of course, that time with the Sri Rama, and Rama had a great fight with the Rakshasas in Janasthana. 14,000 Rakshasas, so powerful and ferocious fighters. Sri Ramachandra alone killed them. Then we can understand the archery. We see the bow and arrow in the hands of Sri Ramachandra, and he was a master in archery. He could shoot, I think, 5 or 6 arrows at a time, and so fast, the non-stop. So that is the way he could kill so many people at a time. The Hanumana first thought now is the Hanumana's the second quality that we find. The first is physically powerful, and second, intellectual. Third, complete dedication. So we will come to the complete dedication. The second we find, now the Hanumana's predicament, if I go, Hanumana was thinking, and show this ring that Sri Ramachandra has given to me, maybe Sita will understand and accept me. Then second he thought, Ravana came in different forms and different times, different days. So obviously Sita may feel that again the Ravana has come, and maybe from somewhere he has got the Sri Rama's ring. Now he is trying to befool me. Sita may not believe me. So Hanumana started thinking, shall I go like this? He said, let me go in a big form, so the Sita will understand that I am a yogi, I can make this body like this, so I have crossed the ocean, so she will believe. Then no, Sita will be terrified. And then maybe she will cry and scream, and the Rakshasas will come, then I will have to fight with the Rakshasas. I will lose my time by that way. So what to do? Then thirdly, suppose I become the small body, just ordinary, and then go before the Mother Sita, then naturally Sita won't be afraid. Then I will go in the Banara form, then Sita will know the monkeys, they may be like that. That there was no monkey in that place. The Sita may think, where from this monkey has come? Maybe again some of the miracles of the Ravana, because she was completely overwhelmed by seeing how a Rakshasa became a deer, a golden deer. And because of the golden deer, Sita, Mother Sita, understanding a deer can never become made of gold and running as a living deer. So she made that mistake, and just to please her, Sri Ramachandra chased that. Then ultimately the Maricha, the Rakshasa, in his the miraculous power, he transformed himself as a golden deer, and all these things happened, and ultimately Ravana could abducted me. So what will happen? So Hanumana was going on thinking. Then ultimately he came to the conclusion, from distance I have to draw her attention, and when she will be pleased, then I will come down and introduce myself. See how intelligent Hanumana. So he was thinking about the situation. Then ultimately Hanumana started praising Sri Ramachandra, because Hanumana knew the whole history of Sri Ramachandra. So he started singing, sitting over there in the tree. Oh, there was a wonderful king, his name is Dasharatha. That Dasharatha is having 3 wives, and these 3 wives, they gave birth to 4 sons, Rama, Bharata, Lakshmana and Shatrughna. And of these 4 brothers, 2, Rama and Lakshmana, they came to the jungle to keep the promise of their father. And along with these 2 brothers came Rama's wife, Ma Sita. They were traveling all through the jungle. Then one day, one Rakshasa, he came and he befooled some way and abducted Mother Sita and the Sita and kept the Sita over here in the Lanka. Then when the Ma Sita, and this thing he was going on telling in a beautiful tune, Rama Katha. Katha, that story is a Katha, and Sri Ramachandra's the story, and in a tune also he used a beautiful tune. So Sita was listening. Oh my God, who can this be? Who knows the whole history? I never told anyone over here all this. So when she was thinking in that way, Hanumana came down from the tree and approached to her and appeared before her, saying, I am the representative of Sri Ramachandra. And this time Sita was not afraid. Sita could believe, yes, it must be so. Otherwise, how this person can know all the whole history? Because that was not known to all these people. So obviously he must be. Then he told Mother, these things have happened, and naturally the Sita first started crying, weeping, and the Hanumana waited, then ultimately consoled her and saying that I have brought something so that you can recognize that Sri Ramachandra himself sent me to you. I can rescue you. Then he showed the ring to Mother Sita. Seeing that, Mother Sita broke again into then the tears, and she started crying, and she told, oh, I am remembering this ring that I gave to him. At the time of marriage, the wife, they give the ring to husband and husband to the wife. So I gave this ring to him. I can always remember this. Then naturally the fond memories that was haunting the Mother Sita, all these descriptions are there in the Ramayana. So Sita believed the Hanumana. Friends, we'll stop over here, but look at it. The Hanumana, who was practicing the spirituality in the form of the servant, then how he showed the second quality of the servant sadhaka. The first is physical power, second is that intellectual power. And there was no one to guide him. So naturally, he had to take the decision. And it was such a sensitive condition that if he goes as his normal form, the Sita won't believe him. And if the Sita is not believing, then all the mission will be failure. So to convince the mother Sita, who was terrified for so many months she was there in that Sri Lanka, in that prison, surrounded by the terrible people, and he approached the mother Sita in a very intelligent way, first not only telling the story, but telling the story through songs, with the music. So obviously that attracted her attention, and she understood, pacified her. She understood. Now the conversation began between Sri Hanumana and Ma Sita. What happened afterwards? So we will read and know in our next month program. Thank you, friends. Thank you for listening to Rama Katha, that is the Ramayana, and let us pray to the Almighty God to give us the power to understand the subtle way of the spirituality that has been given in the pages of Ramayana. May the mighty Rama bless us all. Thank you.